Hi, Kat. How are you?
I'm good, Shannon. Thanks for having me on here.
I'm so excited to get an update from you because I heard something and rumblings about some kind of big swim. Tell us what you've got going on.
Yes, I have a crazy big swim that I publicly launched on May 30th, I think. And that swim is going to be Swim California, which will be a staged assisted swim from Oregon all the way down to Mexico, traveling the entire coastline of California.
Wow.
Yeah.
How the heck did you get the idea to swim the coast of California?
I've had the idea in my head for many years, actually, but it always felt too crazy. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, you can't swim 900 miles. And then I also wasn't sure if I'd enjoy it, but I
Mhm.
knew I love the coastline. I am an avid surfer, water woman, swimmer. Like, I go spearfishing. And so for me, this truly is like my happy place, my backyard. And when I did my swim in 2022 from the Golden Gate Bridge to Half Moon Bay, where I got to spend 12 and a half hours along the California coast with my best friends, that's when the idea became a little more tangible of could I do this over a period of time? And then seeing some swimmers go after big long swims like around Great Britain, around Ireland, around Iceland, I'm like, okay, like maybe it's possible. But the most important thing was that 2 years ago, I voiced it out loud to someone. And I said, someone asked me, her name's Lily Becker. She said, what's the next thing you want to do? And I was like, well, I kind of want to swim the whole coast of California. And I think she thought I was going to say, I want to swim a channel. And she's like, oh, wow, that's really big. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't even know where to start. And she's like, well, it's possible, but not by yourself. You need a team. You need to create like a board, a team of advisors. And so about 2 years ago, we created a team of advisors and we've been planning this behind the scenes quietly for that long. And in May, finally had enough to like put it out there and let the world know this was happening and that we need support.
That's amazing. I just love it. I just love that you're, it's big and it's interesting how like just saying something out loud, like what was that like for you when you said it out loud to somebody would like really crystallize
Yeah,
it?
it was funny. It felt really nonchalant because I was just like at dinner. I'm like, yeah, I want to do this thing. And she's like, okay, well, you need to create a team. And then over the past 2 years with the team, like us quietly doing it, it still didn't feel that real, which is crazy because we were spending so much time thinking about like marketing strategy, fundraising strategy, logistics, the dates, like who are the resources. But it didn't feel real until I said it out loud to the public.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who backs down from things. I'm like, oh, we're doing this now. Like the swim's happening, like barring any situations where it can't. But it felt scary, you know? I think when you put really big things out there, it's yeah, it's scary, but it also feels good that you now have all these people that want to support you in making it happen and are on your side and also holding you accountable.
Yeah. It's huge. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us what I want to, there's so many things. I want to hear about your nonprofit. Let's start there.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. When I was planning for the swim, a big conversation piece that the core group of us, Lily and Sarah and myself originally had was we have to do this for a reason bigger than just Catherine wants to swim the coast because that's not true. Like I want to make an impact. I've always wanted to make an impact. And so we started doing some soul searching of, well, is there a charity we want to partner with? And there's so many incredible ones out there, but we noticed that ocean conservation is pretty saturated. And
Hmm.
there's a lot of groups doing it. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to do that. And then there's a lot of niche learn how to surf and learn how to swim groups. And I'm like, those are awesome, but they seem to have it really dialed. And so as we started thinking more and more, I was like, what have all of my swims that I've raised money for had in common from when I started swimming and coaching swimming in high school? And it was always for me getting more people to the water, whether it was donating to Boys and Girls Club or diversity in aquatics or coaching with the Special Olympics. It was always, I want more people in the water because the water's changed my life. And I was like, okay, so that needs to be like theme number one. And then theme number two was I really want to focus on women because I'm like female empowerment. Like I'm big on that. I want women. And then the third was, well, we need to protect what we love. So we need more people to fall in love with this place so they fight to protect it. Okay, great. We've got this thing. Now what is it? And so Sea Dreamers is a nonprofit and it was born out of that idea. And as I started doing more research shows that in seafaring industry, only 1% identify as women.
Wow.
Huge number. And that I think is a little more specialized to maritime jobs, but that's really important to look at. And when you look in big wave surfing or sailing or prone paddling or fishing or spear fishing, not a lot of women are doing those. And I know that because I'm in those. I went on a spearfishing trip, 21 men and me. And so I was like, all right, we've got something there. And then the other idea was, how do we loop this into Swim California? And it's, well, we need women from Oregon to Mexico. Yeah. And so we came up with the idea of creating ambassadors. And so we're right now formulating that handbook of how it's going to look, but we're going to have ambassadors in different cities in different activities along the coast. And each ambassador is a liaison to that and will host, sponsored by Sea Dreamers, 1 to 2 events with the pillar of conservation, education, and ocean activity. That's what it is. What makes me really excited is if Swim California fails halfway, if it doesn't even start, or if it's massively successful, I don't want to go swim the East Coast now. I don't want to go swim around an island. Like I want to do this. And then I get this amazing thing that's born out of it. And I'm so fired up about that. So that's the nonprofit. We're still in our little baby stages, but it's been really fun learning how to be the president of a nonprofit and how to get things started. And I'm so grateful I have a great team behind me helping. And we've got an awesome group of initial interested ambassadors. I'm like, I think this thing's gonna be really big. And my vision is that you show up to the beach and everyone's got like a Sea Dreamers sticker on a water bottle on their car, on their surfboard, on their scuba tank. And I'm like, all right, maybe in 5 to 10 years, that's possible.
That's amazing. I'm over here like, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been stewing on the nonprofit thing for a while myself. But anyway, tell me a little bit about building this like team of advisors, even just like for like how you're breaking down the swim. Like tell us a little bit about that and we'll circle maybe back to the nonprofit and how you
totally. Yeah. So with the swim, what's interesting is that the team of advisors, I don't think there's any marathon swimmers. There are no marathon swimmers on this team of advisors. Quinn Fitzgerald of Wowza has been to a meeting because I really want to partner with him and make sure we're doing this correctly. But the advisors we have an attorney, we have a rower, there's someone helping with the finances, we have a health team. So each person is someone who's passionate about this project, loves me, I assume, most of the time, but has a unique skill. And I think that was what was really important, is that we brought a team together of diverse thoughts and experiences. Because if I only had a team of marathon swimmers, well, who's going to be our lawyer? And who's going to come up with a fundraising strategy and be able to fundraise outside of the swimming community? So right now on the team is Lily Becker. These names aren't in the swimming world, but I want to give them credit. Pat Devlin is an Olympic Club member and friend. He's helping with fundraising. Sachi Cunningham is advising on the production. Sarah Stoker helping with production, brand strategy. And then my friends Jamie Stone and Katie Suskind. Jamie's an ultra runner and coach, and Katie is a PT was for Stanford Athletics. And they're building kind of like a health side of things.
Mm.
And then on the boat next year, I'm going to have two people who have healthcare experience, forecasting experience, big wave experience, first aid, all of that. So I'm looking for a lot of like Swiss Army knives on the team.
How many boats are you looking at having?
We need a boat.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah, we need one big boat right
Okay.
now. So I'm looking, ideally we want a sailboat or a catamaran. I feel that that's important because I can't preach conservation and
Yeah.
be burning fuel for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to have like a 50 plus foot sailboat or catamaran. If anyone knows anything, this is my 1 second pitch there. And then along the coast, we'll have probably boats come in and out for supplies or crew or safety or just for fun. But ideally, one boat that can get us the whole 4 months.
4 months. Wow. Yeah. So tell me how you how you've broken it down, and I don't know, what's your attack, when are you starting, all these things.
Yeah, the plan is to start June. I was saying June 1st, but now I'm just saying June because I would like to find at least 2 good days back to back to start this thing.
That's a good call.
It's a little like false optimism. Um, and so June will be done end of September, October timeframe. We're going north to south because there's a prevailing current, prevailing winds, at least until Monterey. And then things get a little hairy from Monterey to Point Conception. And then we'll be smooth sailing, knock on wood, until the border. The way we're breaking it out is I have a big map right now, and I just use Google Maps and I looked into what campsites, what harbors, what towns are nearby, and how long will it take us to get from point of interest to point of interest, or point of safety to point of safety, however you want
Mm-hmm.
to phrase it. And that's how many days, how many miles it will take. So, for example, a 20-mile stretch, I'm saying will take 2 days. I'll do 10 miles a day. Some
Mm-hmm.
of the longer stretches, it's going to be dragged out to less than 10 miles a day. And that was really important with Tahoe, is that I learned 3.5 to 4 hours. I feel great. Like I can do that on repeat forever. I can engage with people. I can go to dinners. I can be helpful. But after around the 4.5, 5 hour mark, I need a nap. I'm tired. Grumpy cat's coming out. I don't want to talk to you. So, because we want to do a production, it's knowing, okay, the 5 hour days we can do when we don't have production things planned
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I can be grumpy cat. But when we have production and engagement and I need to be a little more on, it's having like 3.5 hour chunks, 4 hour chunks. So the idea is to swim 3.5 to 5 hours a day, and about every 5 or 6 days, having 1 to 2 rest days. And in the big harbors, there's 16 harbors along the coast to do a Sea Dreamers event or some event with the public engaging people. And so that will probably be a 2 or 3 rest day period. So we're really taking our time. We're looping in community and we're going to make this fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a good way I love that, the way to break it up. But it kind of presumes like some kind of magical 4 month weather window. But I guess it is California, right? So it is the Pacific by name.
Yeah, the plan is gonna go out the window the second my feet touch the water.
Right. Yeah. That's
So
good. That's we marathon swimmers, we know that, right?
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But
Oh,
I'm hoping by saying like 3.5 hours, if I can get seven, I can definitely get 8 miles in 3.5 hours. And if we've got a current with us, even if it's crazy wind, I'll still be moving.
yeah.
And it's so hopefully I'm hoping I made the calendar easy enough that it's always attainable. Because if I made it
Right.
like 12-mile days, that's not going to be possible sometimes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, with my uneducated eye, just,
You're not uneducated. You know so much about this.
but yeah, it just seems like super, I guess, closer to realistic probably than I would have projected for myself. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I did that island in the Caribbean, pushed off thinking it was going to be at a prevailing current. It was going to be 12 hours, and 20 what odd hours later, we
Oh
were
my
still somewhere.
gosh.
but there was a whole bunch of learning happening there.
What was
Um,
that swim?
it was the Bartucability Sea Trail in
Okay.
the island of Dominica. But nonetheless, this sounds amazing. I love your nonprofit. You alluded to your recent trek around the Tahoe Trail. Tell us a little bit about that training swim.
Yeah, I got the idea to swim around Lake Tahoe because it would be a great training activity for a multitude of reasons. And then as I started doing research, I learned that there was a water trail. And I was like, that's cool. There's an advertised, well marked trail that has camping spots and put ins and takeouts. I was like, cool, like, let's just follow that. So, of course, there's no way to ratify a perimeter swim. Um, but I just followed it as closely as I could. We cut off the top corner, but for the most part, we followed it. And it took 5 days, 6 hours to go 61 miles. And I felt great. I had so much fun. I truly did. There were some really rough moments, but in those moments, I recognized I'm choosing to do this. No one is forcing me. There is no record. I can literally get out whenever I want. And then I checked in with myself and I was like, all right, are we safe? Yeah, we're safe. Am I warm? Yeah, I'm warm. Do I have food? Yeah, you've got food. Great. Keep going. The wind and the waves are just a little bit of speed blocks, road bumps, but they're not, I'm fine. And so
Mhm.
that was a good moment for me too to check in with, okay, when this happens on Swim California, let's do those checks. Like, are you
Exactly.
safe? Are you warm? Do you have food? Do you have support? Yeah, great. As soon as safety goes out the window, we're done. We're getting to safe
Hmm.
harbor. Like that is not something I mess with. So that was positive. But yeah, I don't know. I got it. It's the thing I hope to share with the water trail swim too is for swimmers who want to go do something like swim trek. Well, guess what? You could go do it for free in Tahoe. Like
Right.
get some friends on a kayak, get an RV. You can swim around the lake. Take 7 days, take 10 days, and that it's accessible to swim. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the message I hope to share with that too. And also you can do crazy training swims and you can share the process. You don't only have to share I swim the English Channel. Like share the
Right.
process. People like to see that.
Absolutely. Yeah. There was earlier this year posted episode from a woman that lives in Truckee and swam over like 3 seasons, like following a cancer diagnosis, like swam the Tahoe Trail. So it is really cool. And I just, just going back to that mission of inspiring people to get out in the water, it doesn't have to be the English Channel.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a swim track in Greece, even though we would all love to do that. Like you
I
said,
would love to
there's,
go. Yeah.
yeah, there's water everywhere. So
Yeah.
get out there, check it out,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Totally. Yeah.
Were you swimming on your own? Do you have support? How did you do that Tahoe swim?
I always had support because Tahoe, the boats freak me out a
Yeah,
little bit.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Some stretches, some bodies of water, I don't care. I'm like, I know I can
Hmm.
swim for a long time, but the boats make me nervous. So I always had support. I had stand up paddlers the first day, boat, 2 days with a prone paddle. And then the final day was a boat. And then we had to go to a kayak in the afternoon because there was a small craft advisory and a boat was going to be way too much. So we like hugged tight to the shore, avoiding the wind. And so kayak was perfect for that.
What was the best day? Like, what was it? I don't know. I've been
Yeah.
to swim a lot of routes in Tahoe, but there's so many undiscovered
Yeah.
parts of it to me.
So the best day for me was swimming from like just south of Meeks Bay, so the north part of Rubicon Bay,
Mm.
down the West Shore, around Emerald Bay to Baldwin Beach, which is like right at the base. That was my favorite day because the water was really smooth. It was just my boyfriend Dave and I. The sunrise was amazing, and I got to see these huge rock structures that I've never seen before. So, like you, I've been on the lake a lot, and like you see North Lake, you see Sand Harbor, you see South Lake, but this stretch you really can't access unless you're in the water.
Nice.
And so that was very, very cool to me. I was like, this is so special. And on the way back, we stopped at these rocks and like jumped off of them, which was
Nice.
super fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's Phil White always does that at his events in Vermont. Not all. There's like this Swim the Kingdom week, and one of them there's like
Mm,
rocks you jump off, and he's always encouraging people to do that. It's another way to keep it fun because that's what we're really
yeah,
there for, right?
100%. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned your boyfriend Dave. What does he think about this whole going to swim for 4 months? Or how about your employer?
Oh, I know. I get asked the employer. It's funny. I'm like sitting in my employer's office right now. I get asked the employer question often. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have a website. It's on my social media. I was on NBC Bay Area, but I haven't had a conversation with them yet because we're locked in one sense, but we're not locked in that I don't have a boat yet, and
Mm.
we're fundraising actively. I feel full confidence we're going to get the boat, but I don't want to tell them because I don't have the logistics yet. I don't have the sailboat booked. So once that happens, I think we'll sit down and have a conversation. And I really love my job and I hope I can stay. Um, but at the end of the day, I don't know, life's short and 4 months isn't that long. So they can either support it or
Mhm.
it can be like, we've got to cut our ties. We need someone else in your role. And I don't know. Wouldn't you rather like do something big and crazy for 4 months and get another job? Um, so it's
Yeah,
hard to think about, but I hope it works out.
I think you're coming at it from the right angle. I mean, I guess the other option is that you'd sat down and talked to them all about it, and everything in advance. But I think you're creating something that, at least from the way you talk about it, it sounds like it gets you fired up and popping out of bed in the morning. And yeah, not to say, jobs aren't a dime a dozen, but there's there's also this amazing mission that you want to push out there. So that sounds
Totally.
incredible.
Yeah, thank you. But
What
yeah,
about it?
Dave's excited about it. I mean, I think he's nervous because it's going to be 4 months of in and out, not spending time together, but ultimately he truly understands that this is something I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really called to do it. And that I'm going to do it, period. And so it's, if again, life is short. Like life is short, life is long in some senses,
Mm,
and 4 months is not that crazy amount of time. So I think it's going to be a very fun adventure and it's going to set up for some really cool life opportunities.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you did the Tahoe Trail. What other kind of preparation are you doing between now and next June?
I'm swimming the Farallon Islands.
Ooh,
I'm
exciting.
so scared. I'm so scared. I'm like, I need a zebra striped swimsuit, and like, I'm getting shark bands and shark shield and all the things. I'm doing the Farallons. My window is basically the all of mid August.
Wow.
Yeah, and because it's in my backyard, so I have that
Hmm.
luxury. Um, but I have a stellar crew, like Shark Stewards, Dave McGuire of Shark Stewards, David Holscher, who's did with Kim Swims, Amy
Hmm.
Gubser, who swam first person, only person to swim out, her husband Greg. So I'm like, literally, you cannot imagine a better crew. So everyone just like pray to whoever you pray to that we get a good weather window.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm doing that one. And then not much. I'm going to dial back quite a bit and then I'll start training again in the spring because the reality is I've talked to a lot of people who've done similar length events, endeavors, and you need to be trained enough to get through the first 2 or 3 weeks. And after that, you're trained.
You're training. Well,
You're
you're
trained. You're
training. You're just doing
training.
it the whole time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you settle into routine. So
Hmm.
I believe with that. I believe in that philosophy. So it's going to be a lot of like weight training, building up my shoulder strength,
Yeah.
and then getting those yards so that I can get past those first 2 weeks. And if
Mm-hmm.
Tahoe taught me anything, it's that I can absolutely get through 2 weeks.
That's a good thing. Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, PT and strength and flexibility, like those are my go-tos anymore. And then you just swim.
Exactly. Yeah. Just fun. Yeah. A lot of swimming.
Well, yeah, right. Well, look at all the opportunity you'll have to swim. So,
Yeah.
what part of the coast when you're thinking about that 4 month endeavor, like, and you're really familiar with the parts around, San Francisco, but what parts are you kind of more curious about or scared of, or I don't know. Is there?
Fear is a big thing for
Mm,
sure, but I'm most scared of the Lost Coast
that
up
part from
north because,
Oregon to
yeah, we're not going to
Oregon.
have the ability to get resources in and out for that
Mm-hmm.
stretch. And then I'm nervous about Point Conception because there's a Southern California eddy, I think is what it's
Mm,
called, and it goes the wrong direction. So nervous about that. I'm nervous about sharks at the Klamath River at Año Nuevo, and of course down like Southern California, Malibu area.
mm,
So there's some real fears. I think the swim will fail in the Lost Coast or around Point Conception. Like that's where it's going to fail because that's where we don't have a ton of information, especially up north. Um, the shark thing, I'm not shark food. I think the concern there is we'll see a fin, I'll get out of the water, and
mm-hmm.
great, we take a break. I have talked to a woman, Margot Pellegrino, and she has paddled both the East Coast and the West Coast, and we had a very good conversation. But she had a very good time doing California, and she said she only saw one shark the whole time when she went from Washington all the way down. So I'm like, great, they can be there. I just don't want to see them.
Yeah. 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 Are you gonna do Shark Band kind of thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Shark bands will be, I'll ask Nathan, the owner of Shark Bands, how many I can wear that will be effective, and I will have that number on. Just kidding. I think it's one.
Yeah. How far from like shore are you gonna be like when you were charting it out? Like am I gonna be able to go to Crescent City and see you off from it's only like an
Yeah,
hour and a half from me.
yeah, up north probably. It's going to really depend on the currents,
Mm-hmm.
truly.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to swim like as straight as possible.
Mm-hmm.
We're not contouring the state.
Right, right. Yeah, that's
um,
good.
someone else can do that. Claim they actually swam the perimeter or the length, but it's gonna depend.
Yeah,
Yeah, depend on the currents, and we'll just make sure that we start and stop at the same GPS coordinate every day.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. You're training, sleeping on a boat or any other kind of.
Yeah. Well, what's fun is I actually grew up sailing. So we grew
Nice.
up sailing all over the Pacific Ocean. We've taken our boat San Diego to La Paz. We had it in French Polynesia for a few years, New Zealand, Hawaii, up north a little bit. So I have spent 3 months on a sailboat before.
Nice.
And
That's awesome.
so I do feel okay about that part. Yeah.
Yeah, you're perfectly equipped to be the one swimming the length.
I do feel that way. And I don't say it in a way of like cockiness, but I do feel like the I think for the swim to go well, you need to have the physical skill. And there's probably a lot of people that have that physical skill. I also think you need to have the community. And I think that's something that I uniquely have because of my surfing, fishing, swimming community, where I'm like, I have the coolest people that I know that can help me logistically and like swim tactician wise get this done. You need to have the community that you can tap into for fundraising, which I do think I have that with like the Olympic Club. And then you have to have the love for the state, I think, because the Pacific Ocean is not like warm and friendly and lovely and cute. The Pacific
No.
Ocean's like this like badass lady, and she's like, "Oh, you want to pass? Okay, I'm gonna make you work for it." And so I think you really have to love it. You have to love the variety of geography and have emotional connection to it. And I really do. I mean, I have gone and done solo camping trips and trips with friends and surf days because I need to be in the water and I need to think and I need to connect. And so I'm going to be passing some of those places and have those memories flood back. And I think that's going to be really helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I've talked to a few people who've like been there swimming around like Manhattan or something, like just being like, oh, I remember living there and doing that, like that nostalgia is, I think, this a really important. It's just coming to me. I'm actually swimming in Vermont next month, and I'm like so looking forward to it because of all the memories that get to flood back of all the island, whatever, all the things. So I just think it's energizing. If nothing else, it's energizing.
It is
when you're amid those, when it gets, it's like it just isn't, as you kind of experienced probably, in Tahoe and your other big swims, it's like there's always a point where you're just like, what was I thinking?
Totally.
Somebody or something remind you like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm here. Like just to have something to help you flip the script in those moments is so helpful.
Yeah, I'm really trying to remind myself that next year I get to do this.
Yeah.
And so if someone told you that for 4 months, all you have to do is 4 hours a day, the thing that you loved most. Mm-hmm. There's no stress. You just have to like kind of move forward doing the thing that you love. Most people would be like, heck yeah, sign me up, and that's what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm doing a through hike in the water.
I love it. I love it so much. Oh man, I think the only other thing we wanted to touch on, you'd mentioned before we started the recording, but just like you want to do it the right way. Do you want to speak a little bit more to that?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit to that for sure. And I think it's important to be transparent. I'm always transparent in my swims, always above board. I actually had a swim. I broke a record and the swim did not get ratified because my paddler was playing music.
Oh my God.
And that's against marathon swimming rules. And I was like, all right, well, I'll go do it again with no music on the kayak. And like, yeah, there's some rules that I don't fully agree with, but I do appreciate that there are rules because so much of marathon swimming, especially like these big adventure swims, are self-observed. Self-observed meaning you pick the team of observers. It's not like an Ironman race where there's like officials and judges or fill in the blank or the Olympics. So they're observed within your little circle. And I want Swim California to be done in a way that no one ever will question, did you skip that? Did you skip a mile here? Did you skip a mile there? Did you not do it properly? Like, I don't want any of that. So following WOWSA's assisted staged swimming ratification process closely and working with Quinn will be really, really important to me, and making sure we're like documenting. And I want to share everything on Strava and the trackers. And I want people to be able to see when you're on this part of coast, how fast are you moving and what are the currents? And so with my Tahoe swim, I did that. I posted every day on Strava and the tracker was going the whole time. And so I want to make sure, I don't know, I think that's interesting stuff to see. And I want to make sure it's available to the public.
Amazing. I'm so excited.
Well, I haven't done it yet.
Well, no, but just the way you phrased it, like, if someone told you you could have 4 months to get up and do something that you love every single day and, with it surrounded by people who, support you and are just in on your mission and everything that you're trying to do. I love that you're breaking it up with, like harbor stops to raise awareness for your nonprofit. There's just so many amazing, amazing components of it. I can't wait to follow along.
Thank you. Thanks, Shannon. Maybe you'll have to come out at the start, maybe be on the boat for a couple days.
Ooh, well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, we should.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kat.
Thanks.